we'll start with our backend. Okay, so I will open one more VS Code. So I will go back one directory. We have a client folder, right? Here in this root directory, so we'll write npm init. So this will create one package.json here. So I will just open this in a VS Code. So now we have two VS Code open, right? One is for client and one is for backend. So first we'll start creating one server.js file, and here we'll start installing some dependencies. So first one is .env. So npm I .env dash save. So second one is express. So npm I express dash save. The next one is body parser. Okay. Next one, CORS. So I think for now we installed all the dependencies. First I will require .env .config. Okay. Then I will write express. I will require express here. Const http. So require http. I'm sorry, the spelling of const is wrong. Okay. So next is body parser. Require body parser. Const CORS. So require CORS. Okay. So I will create one .env file also. So in this file we'll write some environment variable. So for now I will just write port. So I will run this app on 2000. Okay. So here we'll write const port. So equals to process .env dot. So here we write port like this, right? So let's make it capital. Okay, so here we'll write process.env.port. So it will give you 2000. Then I will write const app equals to express. Then const server equals to http server. So it's create server and we'll pass our app. Okay, so after this, so we'll write app.use. First we'll call CORS. Second, we'll write express.static and we'll pass one folder name. So that will be uploads. Okay. So what this upload does, so we have to create one upload folder here like this. So inside this upload folder, in our app, there is a profile picture or maybe a voice chat messages or some other assets are there, right? So those assets this upload folder will hold. So this will make sense later. So I'm just doing some basic configuration. So after that we'll write body parser dot JSON. Then again body parser dot URL encode, and here we'll pass extended false. Okay, so after this we'll just write server dot listen port and one callback method. So here we just write console.log and we'll write server is running on port and we'll just concatenate port. So it will just give you server is running on port 2000. Okay. So I think basic configuration is done. Let's try run our server. So server is running on port 2000. So now let's create our first API. Let's create one folder app. In this folder we'll create our backend. So inside app we'll create one file routes.js, controller.js. So we'll create one folder model. So inside model we'll write common model.js. So inside routes, we'll write const express equals to require express. Then we'll create a router express dot router. So here we'll just export module dot exports equals to router. And in server.js, here we will require this const routes equals to require, okay, like this, and we'll pass here, okay. So now these routes are connected with our express, right? So here we can write our APIs. So first we'll list down all the APIs we needed. So we'll write router dot post. So we'll say API slash login. Okay, and the controller method for this is user login. Okay, so don't worry about these methods. We'll create these methods in a controller file. We can import that file, which doesn't exist right now, but that's fine. So const controller equals to require controller, like this, right? Okay, so in this API, because this is a login, so uh, so if you remember, so in the login we have a profile picture and a name, right? So for storing this profile picture, so we will be using a library, right? And that library is Multer library. We can create a middleware here. So let's say const equals to require. So we'll require a helper here, right? And here from the helper, we'll require user profile upload. And we can pass this middleware here. So right now we don't have this middleware, okay? So we have to create this, right? Let's create one more file here that will be helper.js. So first we have to install Multer, right? So npm I multer, okay, dash dash save. So we have to install this. Okay, so now we can do const multer equals to require multer, okay, and here we can create this middleware, right? This user profile upload. So we can write exports dot user profile upload equals to multer. In this we can pass storage, and here we can pass one method. Let's say that method will be user profile storage, and second we can pass limit, and here we can pass file size. So what this means is, like, whenever user is uploading any file, you can limit that file size. So let's say user can't upload file size more than 10 MB. So maybe if he tries to upload 20 MB or maybe 11 MB file size, then this throws the error, right? Okay. So now we don't have this method. So we'll create this method on the top. Okay. So const this method equals to multer dot disk storage. Here we'll write destination. Okay, so destination means we have to provide one destination where that middleware stores that image, right? So let's say I will open the env, and env may I will write profile underscore image underscore path. So this will be profile. Now inside helper, in destination, we can write upload slash, here we can write process dot env dot this one, this profile image path, right? And one forward slash. This means whenever we are uploading any profile image, so it will go into uploads folder. So this folder. Okay, so uh, I think we can remove this upload. I don't know how it's created. Okay, so it will upload in the uploads folder. Then it will create one more directory. The directory name is profile. So we can make this also profiles. Okay. So it will create a directory called profiles and it will store the image there. So what we can pass here is file name. So that will take one function. Okay. Here we can pass request file comma callback. We can call cb null comma date dot now. So we are taking a current timestamp and concatenating with path. We have to require path also. So const path equals to require path. Okay, now path dot extension name, we can write file dot original name, right? So what this will do, this will rename the uploaded file with current timestamp and concatenate the original file name extension. Okay, so this method is done and we already passed it here, right? Now the second API is router dot get, and here API slash users list slash the session ID of the user, right? And the method name will be controller dot get users list. Now the third API will be get API slash user slash ID. So here also controller dot get user info. Next API will be post. So here API slash chats and controller dot get user chats. Okay, so next is get API. This give the information if the user is online or offline, right? So API user slash is hyphen offline slash ID, and here the method name will be check if user offline. Now the next API will be post API. So here in this API we can upload voice chats. So this will be upload voice and the method will be upload voice. So for this method also we have to create a middleware. So let's say the name of the middleware will be audio upload. So we have to pass here also. And in helper we have to create this middleware, right? We can just copy everything and paste it here, and we can just rename the method. And here we can rename this method also audio storage, and this also. Okay, here we have to write single and track, and here the destination we have to change to audio path, and the name will be null. We can directly write dot webm. Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot something here. We have to pass profile image. This is also done. So inside this we already passed the middleware. Now the last API, so router dot post API slash upload hyphen image hyphen file. So here the controller method will be upload image file. Okay, so here also we need a middleware and the name will be image message file upload. Okay, same thing we have to pass here and here also, or maybe I will copy this one. So same thing we will copy one more, right? I will just pick the name, rename this one, right? And here we'll write image message file storage. Okay, and so I will rename this method also. Okay, so here inside this we have to pass this env that will be image message path. This is fine, right? And this process.env is right. So this we have to pass here also. So one is this audio path equals to audio, and another one is this image message path. So this will be attachment. Okay, so now I think our middlewares are done and API is also done. Okay, so now we'll write our controller methods inside our controller. So first method will be user login. So I will just pick that method, this one. We'll write exports dot user login equals to async. We'll pass request response. Here we'll write a try catch block. Okay, so here inside a try, we'll write const. We'll take the name. We'll write json dot parse request dot body dot payload. So now we'll create a user object. Okay, because this is a login method. So we'll write let user equals to an object. We'll take this name, this one, which is coming from front end. We'll take profile image, session ID, created it and updated it. So for this created it and updated it and this session ID, right? Let's go one by one. So for this session ID, we'll create one unique ID, right? So inside helper, we'll create one more method, install one library, that is UUID. So npm I UUID dash dash save. And here we can write const v4 is to UUID v4, okay, equals to require UUID. Okay, so now here we'll write exports dot get unique ID. We'll just return UUID v4, so it will just return a unique ID. So now here in controller on the top, we'll write const equals to require. So we'll take a helper, right? From helper, we'll take get unique ID, and this unique ID we can pass here like this. So it will generate a unique ID and store inside the session ID. Okay, and for created and updated at, so inside helper we have to create one more method. So that will be exports dot get time. This will return current time step. So now we can pass here, and somewhere here we can write const current time equals to get time. Okay, and this current time we can pass here and here also. I will just format the document. So now, because we already created this functionality, right, user profile upload. Okay, so we can check if request dot file and request dot file dot file name. So if this exists, then we'll do user. So this profile name, okay, equals to process dot env dot base path. So this base path will create an environment variable, right? So this base path is equals to http localhost. Okay, like this. After getting the base path, we'll write h2. Then again process dot env dot port. Okay, so this port is coming from here, this one. Okay, then slash, then again process dot env dot profile image path. So this one. Again slash, then request dot file name. So this line here, this will give you the uploaded file, the currently uploaded file for that logged in user, right? So after this we have to store this user in Mongo, right? So we have to do some setup for the Mongo inside env first. So here we'll write Mongo URL equals to mongodb slash localhost 27017 and WhatsApp clone. Database name is WhatsApp app clone. Then user collection is user. Then chat collection is there, right? So these basic things we need for the Mongo. Now here inside app, we'll create one folder that is config. Okay. Inside config, we'll write mongodb.js. So obviously we have to install MongoDB first. So that is npm I mongodb dash dash save. And here we can write const mongo underscore db equals to require MongoDB. Const mongo client equals to mongodb dot mongo client. Const url equals to process dot env dot mongo url. So this one. Now we'll do try catch block. Okay, inside catch we'll just do console log if any error is there. And inside try we'll write const m underscore connect equals to mongo client dot connect. So here we'll pass this URL and we'll pass use unified topology and that will be true. So I think this is done. So after this, we'll just export module dot exports equals to, we'll export both thing MongoDB and one is this mconnect. So now I will close this file and this also. Inside controller, here we can write let id equals to await, then user login and we'll pass the user. This method, this is a model so that we have to create now. So inside app, so we already have a model. Okay, so by mistake this is outside the app folder. I will just move this inside the app. So now inside model we already have a common.model.js, right? We'll write const equals to require. So that will be our MongoDB configuration. So config slash MongoDB. Okay, and from here we'll take MongoDB comma mconnect, right? Both. So now we can create this method. So this user login. Okay. So we'll write exports dot user login equals to async. So we'll take payload. Then we can write const db equals to await mconnect dot db. Then we'll pass process dot env dot the database name. So that will be this. Okay. Let collection equals to await db dot collection and we'll pass the collection name. So we'll write process dot env dot, so we can pass this collection. So this user collection. Okay. So now after this we'll write let response equals to await, then collection dot insert one and we'll pass this payload. Then we can just return res dot inserted id. So this method is also done. Now here inside controller we can write const equals to require model slash model common dot model, right? So here we can get that method user login. So now this method is connected from model, right? Because we already written inserted id here, so we'll get this id, this one. So after getting the id, we can write user underscore id then id. Okay, so we are just updating this user object only. So then we can write response res dot status 200 dot send user, and inside catch we can just write response dot status 400 dot send on this exception dot message. So the user login is done. So now we'll create this get user list. So we'll take this method, we'll go into the controller. Okay, we'll write exports dot get user list async, then request comma response. Here also try catch block. Inside catch we'll write response status, that will be 400 dot send exception dot message. Inside try, so we have to get the user list, right? So we'll write const user list equals to await, and we'll write get user list, and we can pass request dot params dot id. Okay, so this is coming from here. So this id, this one, right? So this id we can get from request dot params dot id. This is again a model method, right? So we have to create this now. So get users list. So now we can pass that method here, and now we'll actually create that method inside model. Okay, so here we'll write exports dot get user list, so that will be async method. We'll pass session id. These two line will be same only, so we'll just copy from here. Okay, after this we'll write let response equals to await collection dot find. Okay, here we'll write session id is to, again one curly braces, and we'll write dollar $ne, that is not equals to session id. After this we'll write to array, and then we'll just return res. So now inside the controller, so once we get the user list, so now we'll write let user list object equals to one empty object. Then we'll write if user list, so this list, right, dot length. Then we'll write for let I equals to 0, I smaller than user list dot length, then I plus plus. Inside here we'll write user list object, we'll take user list I dot session id equals to user list I, right? So let's say this user list. Okay, so this give response name is to user1, and session id is to 123, and after this one more object is there. So let's say name is to user2. Okay, and session id, so this will be, let's say, 456. Okay, so now we are getting the data like this inside this user list. Okay, so now what we are doing here, just to ease our work in the front end, so we are just like manipulating this. So now this will become something like this. I will show you. So inside one object, this session id, so let's say 123, so it will create 123, and then one object. So that object contains name is to user1. Okay, comma session id is to 123. Second, that is like 456 is to one object, and then name is to user2, comma session id is to 456. So we are creating this kind of object now. Okay, so it will be very easy, because from the key that will be session id, we are extracting the data like very easily. Okay, so that is what we are doing here. Now after that we'll just do res dot status 200 dot send user list object. We'll just format the document again. So we'll just remove this comments also. So now we will start with our third API, that will be get user info. So in our controller we'll write exports dot get user info. This will be async method, request comma response. Here we'll write try catch block, and we'll simply pass response dot status 400 dot send exception dot message. So here we will write const user info equals to await get user info. Okay, here we will pass request dot params dot id. Okay, so this method doesn't exist right now. So we will create this method in the model. So first we have to import this here, and inside a model we will write exports dot get user info, and we'll get the session ID here. We need these two lines only, so I will just copy paste this. After this we'll write let res equals to await, then collection dot find one. Here we will write session ID is to session ID. Okay, like this. And after this we'll just return res. So inside controller we'll get the user info here. After that we'll just write res dot status 200 dot send user info. So this method is also done. Now we'll create this get user chat. So here we will write exports dot get user chats. So this will be async function, request comma response. We'll write try catch block, and here we'll write res dot status 400 dot send exception dot message. And here we will write const equals to request dot body. So from front end this method will get sender id comma then receiver id. Then we'll write const chats equals to await get user chats, then we'll pass sender id and receiver id. So we'll create this method first. So inside model we'll write exports dot get user chats equals to async then sender id comma receiver id. So here we'll take these two lines again. We'll change the collection name, so that will be chats. After this we'll just write let res equals to await collection dot find. Here we'll pass room, then we'll get all the room which has this sender id comma receiver id. So this will make sense later. So after this we'll just return response. So this method is also finished. So after this, so before writing this method, I just want to write these two methods first. This API is little bit different, so I will explain you this in a while. So I will just comment this out for now. So first we'll write this upload voice. We'll write exports dot upload voice, that will be async request comma response. We'll write try catch block. Okay, and here we'll write res dot status 400 dot send exception dot message. And here we will write let file path equals to empty string, and if request dot file dot file name. So if this exists, then we'll take this variable, right? So process.env.base path. So this path is this one, localhost. After that, we are taking the port, that is this 2000 port, and then forward slash, and we are taking audio path. So that is this audio, okay? And after that, we are taking the file name, which is coming inside the request, okay? So this file name is coming because we added the middleware, right? This middleware, audio upload. Okay. So after doing this, so we'll simply write res dot status 200 dot send file path. Okay, like this. So after this, the upload image file. So this also we can write here exports dot upload image file. So async request comma response. Okay, we'll write try catch, then res dot status 400 dot send exception dot message. It will be similar to this method. Okay, I will just copy paste everything from here and paste it here. So we have to change this audio path to this image message path, like this. Then this is also correct. So this method is also done. So for this API, check if user online. So first we have to know something about Redis. Okay, let's go to the terminal. I will just open one more terminal here. Run the Redis server. So Redis server. Once the server is started, we'll open another terminal, and here we'll write redis-cli. There are some basic commands. So let's say flush all to flush everything from the Redis, right? So now if you want to check all the keys inside the Redis, so keys, then star. So because we already flushed all, so there is no keys, right? And if you want to like set any key, so you can write set name value, so it will set. And again, if you do keys star, so you can see the name, right? And if you write get name, so we'll get the Akshay. So this is a basic thing. But what we are doing here, we have to store online and offline users, right? So I will just do flush all. Okay, so now I will go into this VS Code. Okay, here I will explain you what we are actually doing. So we'll use two keys. One is WC. So this is WhatsApp clone, is to user, is to off. So this is for offline users. And one more, that is WC is to user, is to on. Okay, so this is for online users. So inside this, what we can do, we can store key as a session ID. So let's say there is a user and the session ID is 123, and we can store the value. So that will be stringify object. Okay, so let's say name is to Akshay. Okay, and here also inside on, the flow will be exactly same. So let's say this user is 345. Okay, and the name is some name. Okay, so now what logic we are following here is, whenever any user comes online, right, we'll do the entry here and we'll remove the entry from here. Okay, so let's say this 345 user comes online. Okay, and here starting May there is nothing, so we put one entry inside on. So once this user goes offline, right, we'll remove the entry from here and we'll put the entry here, and then some other user come, so we'll just do the entry here, let's say 678, and this is, let's say, user 3. So once this user goes offline, we'll remove the entry from here and we'll put the entry here, like this. And same goes the vice versa also, because if this user comes online again, we'll remove the entry from here, we'll put the entry here. Okay, so inside Redis we can write hm set. Here the name of the set is wc is to user is to online, and the field name is actually the session id. So let's say the session id will be 123 and the value is stringify object. So here we'll write, let's say name is to user1. Okay. Okay, so to check this entry, we can write hget and the key will be wc is to user is to on, and the field name will be session id, that is 123. So it will give you the name and the user one. So now if you want to delete this entry, so you can simply write hdel, then wc is to user is to on, then 123. Okay, so it will say 1, so that means one entry is deleted. So again if you check this one hget, so it will give you the nil, right, because we already deleted this, so there is nothing inside this set, right. So same goes for that offline users. So h set, then wc is to user is to off, the field name will be the session id. So let's say 789 and the value will be stringify object. So let's say name is to user 10, right. So same thing h get and wc is to user is to off, then 789. Okay, so we'll get this one. If you like insert multiple users, so let's say h set 456 and the user will be 4, right. So now if we again do hget 456, we'll get that user. So if you want to see all the user inside this offline list, you can simply write h get all, then wc is to user is to off. So it will give you the all like users list. So I hope you understand this one. So in this API check if user offline. So here we are simply taking the session ID from the request params, right? And we'll check inside the Redis if the user is offline or not, right? We'll simply hit this command, right? This one, hget, then wc is to user is to offline, then the session ID. And session ID we are getting from the request params, right? We'll write this function, check if user offline. Okay, and here we'll write exports dot check if user offline equals to request comma response. We'll write try catch block, and here simply we'll write res dot status 400 dot send exception dot message, and here we'll write get offline user info. Then here we'll pass that set name. So wc is to user is to off, and we'll take that param. So request dot params dot id. So this method will give you error and response. And here we'll check if there is an error. We'll simply throw the error and we'll say some error occurred. But if there is no error, we'll write res dot status 200 dot send. We'll send the response, else false. So we don't have this method. So for this I would like to create one more model here, and the model name will be heartbeat model. Okay, so because we have to use the Redis, so first we have to configure the Redis. We'll create redis.js, and here we can write let redis equals to require redis. Okay, so we have to install this Redis. So we can go here and we can write npm I redis dash dash save. Okay, so this is installed. So now after this, here we can write client equals to redis dot create client. So we are creating a client from the redis. Now we can write client dot on. We'll take the error. If error is there, we'll just console log this error. We'll just export the module. So module dot exports equals to client. So now we can go to the heartbeat model. So we'll write const redis client equals to require. We'll go to the configuration and the redis. Now we can write that method. So that is get offline user info. So we can write exports dot get offline user info equals to, this will take key, then sub key, and then one callback function, right? So this key is wc is to user is to off, and this sub key is the session id. So let's say 123. After this we can write redis client dot hget, will pass key then sub key, and it will give you error comma response. Then we can just pass that response inside callback. So callback will pass error comma response. Okay, so inside controller, so this thing is done, right? So we will get error and response. So we have to import this also, right? So here we can write const, so require from model, then heartbeat model will take get offline users, okay? And this method we are using here, right? So we finished our API, right? I think it's time to move towards socket. We'll write our socket manager. So I will close all the files. So now we'll start with our socket implementation. So I will go to the server.js, and first thing I will install socket.io. So npm I socket.io dash dash save. Okay, after this we have to write const io equals to module dot exports dot io equals to require socket.io, and after this we'll pass this server here, okay, like this. Then we'll write const socket manager equals to require, and then we'll give the path app socket manager slash socket manager, and then io dot on connection, then socket manager. So now we have to create this socket manager. So we'll go inside app folder and we'll create one folder that is socket manager, and inside that socket manager we'll create one file that is socket manager.js. So now here we'll write const io equals to require. So we'll take server and we'll write io here. So inside server.js we exported this module, right? Module.export.io. So that's what we are getting here. Okay. So now here we can write module dot exports. So we'll take socket. So now we'll write try catch block, and here we'll just console.log exception. So inside here, okay, we'll just write console.log and then connected. Okay, so after this we'll write socket.on, and here we will listen to one event that is join user. So let's say from front end, whenever any user is joining, right? So front end will emit one event and the server is listening to that event, right? So that is socket.on and that event name. So it will take data and callback. We'll write const equals to data, right? And from this data, get some keys, right? So that is created at name, profile image, session ID, then updated at, and one underscore ID. So this underscore ID is the logged in user ID. Now we have to create a new user. So let's say const new user equals to an object. So here we can pass created at, name, profile image, then session ID, updated at, and underscore ID. And for this updated at, we have to give a current time, right? So for this, we'll go to helper. So we already have a current time helper function here, right? So what we can do, here we can import that. So const require helper, and here we can take get time, and this get time we can store in some current time variable. So let's say const current time equals to get time method, and this current time we can pass here. So this is a new user, right? So whenever any user logs in, right? So we have to remove that user from WC user is to off. So we have to delete the user from here and WC user on, add user here, right? So we have to create two methods in the heartbeat model here. So first method is exports dot add users to list Redis. So it will take key, then sub key, value, and one callback. Here we'll write Redis client dot hm set. Here we can pass key, then sub key. Then for our value, we have to do JSON dot stringify. Okay, then we can pass value here. And here after this we'll get error comma response. So here we'll just return CB error and response. Okay, like this. So after this we'll write exports dot remove users from list Redis. So here we'll take key and sub key. Okay, and we'll do Redis client dot hdel. We'll pass key comma sub key. So our methods are done. So now inside socket manager, we'll require these things. So we'll write const, we'll require from model, heartbeat model, we'll write add users to list Redis and remove users from list Redis. Okay. So now we'll call this method remove users from list Redis here, and here we'll pass WC is to user is to off, and we'll pass session ID. So this will remove the user from the Redis. Okay. Now we have to add that user inside that online set. So we can use this method. Okay. Here inside this method we can write WC user is to on, and we can pass session ID, and here we can pass time is to current time. So we already have the current time on the top right, this one. So for online users, key will be session ID, and in the value we are just storing the current time when that person is online, right? So now for this callback, we'll take e comma r. So that is error and response. We can write if e, then just return callback error. Here we can write if it's not error, so then we can write new user joined, and we can pass response. We can write socket dot session id equals to session id. Okay, so what we are doing in the socket object, right? For the current socket, so we are storing session id inside the socket also, and then we can write socket dot join session id. Okay, so after this we can write socket dot broadcast dot emit, and we can write new online user, and we can pass new user. This event is done. So now for sending the message, we have to write socket dot on. The event name will be send message. Okay, we can take data and callback. Then we'll write const sender ID and receiver ID and the actual message. We'll take this from data. So now we have to store this message inside the database inside our Mongo, right? So first we have to create a chat object. So we'll write const chat object equals to object, right? We'll create a room. So here we can pass receiver ID, sender ID. Okay. So now next thing is sender ID and receiver ID, then the actual message, then the time of the message. Okay, so we'll take the get time. Then after that, we'll write await save chats. Okay, and we'll pass chat object. So now we need this save chat functionality. Okay, so we have to go to the model. So common model.js. Okay, so here we can write exports dot save chat. This will be async function which will take payload, and here we'll just copy paste these two lines. After this we'll write let res equals to await, then we'll take that collection dot insert one and payload. Then we'll return res dot inserted id. So this method is also done. Require this method here. Okay, after this const will require here that model. So model and common model. Okay, from this model we'll fetch this method save chats. Okay, so this method we can use here now. Okay, after this we'll write io dot to receiver id dot emit, and the event name will be receive message, and we'll pass the chat object here. And then we can write callback also, that will be chat object. So I think this method is also done. So now for the typing indicator, okay, whenever user started typing anything, the receiver party, he sees that typing wala indicator. Okay, for that we'll write socket.on, and here the event will be user typing. We'll take the data and callback const data, and from here we'll get sender's id, then again receiver id and the message. We'll write const and chat object equals to one object, then room, so this will be one array. We'll write a receiver id, then sender id, then we'll pass sender id, receiver id and the message. The time will be get time. After this we'll write io dot to receiver id dot emit. We'll pass that event user typing and the chat object, and here callback, and we'll pass the data. So this is also done. Now finally we'll write a disconnect event. So whenever user closes the browser, or somehow his internet connection lost, or if he's going offline, right? So this disconnect event will fire automatically by the socket. So we can write socket.on disconnect. We'll take session ID from the socket. So we'll write const. We'll take session ID here. If you remember, we already stored this session ID here. See this one. So for this particular socket, we already have a session ID inside the socket. Okay, so that session ID we are fetching here. So now if session ID exists, then we'll remove the user from the Redis. So we'll call remove user from list Redis, and we'll write wc is to user is to on. So this time, because user is disconnected, right? So user is going offline. So we'll remove that user from the online set. So we'll pass session ID, and we'll create a offline user data. Here we'll write time, then get time method, and we'll store session ID. And then we'll call add users to list Redis. We'll write wc is to user is to off. We'll pass session ID, then offline user. So it will give you error comma response, and here we'll just console.log user left. So I think this is also done. After this socket.broadcast.emit, we are broadcasting to every user, because whenever any user is offline, all the other friends or all the other users, they will notify that this user left. So that time we can show last seen at some time. So that time will come from here. We'll write new offline user. Then we'll pass offline user. So I think our socket manager is also done. So now I think our backend is also done. Now we'll start with our React application, the front end part. So we'll use all these things in our front end.